Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dan Blanchard with the Travel in Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history, with leadership, and of course, with me, Dan Blanchard. Today I'm in Boston at the Granary Burying Ground, which used to be called the South Burying Ground. And it got the name, what we use today, the Granary Burying Ground, from, it used to be like an old grain building next to it. Now, if you look around in this burying ground, going to see about 2,300 gravestones here, but they tell me that there's more than 5,000 people buried here. Now we're talking, this goes way, way back to like 1660, all right? And a lot of our revolutionary heroes from the American Revolutionary War, Boston people, are buried here, all right? Really, a really cool place. Now in the beginning, they all had pretty much these simple stones, but you're going to see, late 1800s, they're going to be updated to like some really, really nice stones, much bigger stones for the Revolutionary War heroes, all right? So if you look right over here, very first stone, you see right here is Samuel Adams stone. And right next to them, that is the Boston Massacre one. All right, so Samuel Adams, he's basically the father of the American Revolution. He was a master. He was a master in propaganda, and he was governor, Massachusetts governor as well, which was pretty cool. And I told you right next to him, buried in one grave, was the Boston Massacre 5. They were buried there. Okay, they were basically the martyrs of liberty. They're there right next to Adams, which is a pretty cool place, that they were right next to Adam. And I gotta tell you something, when these guys were buried, half of Boston showed up for their funeral, right? There was a procession of about 12,000 people marching here for this, to see this, the Boston Massacre, the 5 people that were killed. And it was a political statement. You know, there was like political unity for them all to be buried in the same site right here together. You know, you've got Crispus Attucks. He was like the first African-American killed, right, in the war. You got Sam Gray, Jim Caldwell, and you got Sam Maverick, and you got Pat Carr, all right? Those guys were all buried right there. Now, on the other end, you can't see it easily, but on the far end, way down there, you got a guy, a brilliant legal mind, James Otis Jr. All right, James Otis Jr. He was the most brilliant legal mind of the time in Boston, and he argued all sorts of court cases against the British, and a lot of his logic, his legal logic, were used by the other people, you know, like Paul Revere, Sam Adams, and all the other guys, right? Brilliant legal mind. Now the amazing thing about James Otis, again, it's he's down there. James Otis was that he had a very, very prestigious legal position for the British, but he resigned it. He resigned that position. Basically, he's like, I can't do this anymore, right? Resigned that position, and he went pro bono for the colonists, helping them out. Now, sadly, a British soldier is going to beat him severely, damage his head, give him traumatic brain injury, and he's never going to be the same. He's going to suffer from mental health issues. He's going to have to live with his sister, can't really live on his own anymore. And the British think that they got one over on us, but they didn't, because the other guys, the other colonists, the other revolutionaries, you know, picked up his way of thinking, and maybe not as brilliant, but picked up his way of thinking, his arguments, and used them, all right? Now, when he was with his sister, he was like, just basically like, I can't do this no more. It's just like, I hate living like this. I don't want to be this person anymore. I just wish lightning would strike me and kill me, and this, that. And guess what? You're not going to believe it. Guess how James Otis Jr. dies? Yep, you got it. It's struck by lightning. Pretty crazy, right? All right, so you can't see it very easily from here, but right down there, just past the real big obelisk, there's another tombstone down there, right? And that is where Peter Faneuil is buried, right? Peter Faneuil's buried right over there. All right, he's the guy from Faneuil Hall. And if you see the real big obelisk right there, the real big obelisk right there, that is Benjamin Franklin's parents. Now, yes, Benjamin Franklin was born and raised here in Boston. He's a Bostonian. but I didn't get along with his brother. Apprenticeship with his brother went really bad. He went to Philly, and he became basically Philadelphia's boy. I mean, John Hancock is down there. He's got another obelisk right down there past Franklin's, over pretty close to Peter Faneuil. He's here. Like I told you, there's so many people are buried here. So many freaking revolutionary people are buried here. All right. Now, you got to think here, if you notice in some of the gravestones, you got to think here called the soul effigy. All right. It's basically a wind skull motif. And it basically symbolizes the soul ascending up to heaven. You have that on quite a few of these tombstones here. This place is also called the Westminster Abbey of Boston. Now, Westminster over in England is this famous place where all this royalty is, right? So this is the Westminster Abbey. This is like the American Revolutionary royalty here, all right, over here. So this is, there's a lot of Puritans. It's like a Puritan's burying ground, where you can see from the symbols on the tombstones that they basically, death is inevitable, right? The living live among the dead, and the dead reside and rest among the living, right? It's very, very different than what we do today, when we basically avoid trying to talk about like death. We don't discuss death. It's kind of almost like taboo, kind of weird. But back in these days, the Puritan view was it's all intermingled, right? Life and death are intermingled. I mean, think about it. Think about how many people didn't live till adulthood. Think about all the kids they had for the farm, but also because a lot of kids were going to die, not make it to adulthood, right? So anyways, you know, when I do these Travel in Time with Dan shows, I mix travel with history, with leadership. This is a really cool graveyard. Boston's so cool. You should definitely come down and check it out. Give you a little bit of history of this place. So what's the leadership? The leadership is, right, choices, actions, and service. Not fame alone. Leadership is not about fame alone, right? It's about choices. It's about actions. And it's about service. Anyways, thank you for spending time with me today. Dan Blanchard here on the Travel in Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history and with leadership. I'm going to be back real soon with another great episode. Till then, you take care.